Sega is on already. Awesome. Welcome back. Let us know where you guys are watching from and if you can hear us. I think I have the comments on. I'm just going to double check. Here we go. All right, guys. Today we are talking about first steps when you bring home your wild donkey. And you guys see Dan and I wearing extra hats. Oh, you took off your extra hat.
I did. My ears are cold.
Oh, he was wearing two earlier, guys.
Well, I was wearing a brimmed hat. This was over the top of my brimmed hat and
Like, it's a style now, guys. Okay.
trying to keep up with her.
So we are talking about the big one today, like what to do when you first bring home a donkey. And we brought home 8 new wild burros on Thanksgiving morning. We unloaded them from the trailer. I think it was 1 o'clock, right?
It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
So I want to share with you the absolute crucial first step that you take on day one so that you're setting them up for success. And this is the foundation for all the upcoming gentling and training that we're going to be doing with them. And moving slowly is so very key because when you first bring them home, they are in flight mode. They are totally fearing for their lives.
Yeah, they literally think they're about to be eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very, very scared.
So I'm going to walk you through with what I did yesterday. And it was a little bit chaotic down there because we were moving around water troughs and trying to get it so it has more insulation around it.
Yeah, real quick, I'll expound on that.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the first daylight day for these new 8 2-year-old wild donkeys, we had to move fence panels. We had to dig a ditch, put in the water trough built down into the ground inside of a hill to help keep it insulated. So the poor little buggers, they had to deal with skid steer banging around, MaryJo and I running back and forth, moving panels. There was a lot going on.
And did I let them just relax during all of this? Nope.
Nope, she's over there. Yep, just interacting with them.
Right. So what I did once Dan didn't need me anymore, we have 8, right? And I only had half the panels to work with. I guess I could have had 4 pens if I would have used the barn, but
Right.
so I had 3 panels or 3 training areas that I wanted to work with. So I got one separated into one pen, and it was the smallest one, not my favorite, but it was okay for what I was going to ask. And then I had 3 in the next pen, and then the last in the line I had 4. So the 4 boys were all together. Now the questions that I asked them yesterday was, are you comfortable enough to eat if I'm in the pen with you? That's a really small question. So I wasn't trying to touch them. And the first one, I don't remember what her number is, but she's really cute little girl. She's 2 years old.
The light colored one?
Yes.
That's the one that sniffed my hand today.
And she's on the cover for this Go Live. She's just so cute.
She is adorable. Yeah, we got a couple pushovers and that hurt for sure.
Yes. So I would put hay down on the ground. I would stand facing away from her. Because if you look at them in the eyes, like that's what they teach us to do growing up. When you're talking with somebody, look at them in the eye, not when you're gentling a wild donkey or a Mustang or any animal that's domestic and nervous. Don't look at them directly to begin with because they're going to take that as it's like a predator. How do I say this? It's what a predator does.
It's like you're locking onto them, yeah. I think a lot of that, we talked real quick about angles, kind of like when we took the cattle working classes, rather than facing that animal directly, to be angled a little bit and not be directly facing them.
That's a really good point. Sometimes I think we do stuff out there and we do it naturally and we don't realize what we're doing or what the outcome, what the consequence is of what we're doing. So whether we're facing them directly or we're just naturally, we make those angles. They are so important. It's like an
Absolutely.
angle
And when I watch you down there, you're always real conscious of your angles. And you may have not heard put the words till just now, but it's exactly, I'm just kind of whiteboarding as we're going forward here. It's the same thing as the cattle working class about you're not trying to go head on with the animal, intimidate them. You want to keep that cow calm. You want to keep the donkey calm, so they're working with you. So if you're confused about angles, go ahead and drop us a note, and MaryJo will get back with you.
Oh my gosh, yes. Now, remember in the cow class, so cow class, I did that with a wild donkey, you guys. So these wilds are going to come around. But I remember how Ty would talk. Ty Evans is like our mentor. He would talk about if the animal's here, like maybe you want to be right here, and sometimes you want to be right here, and sometimes you're coming here and they come to look at you if my fingers are their head, and then you turn around this way because then you're removing the pressure. You don't want to turn in towards them. So the same thing out there, when they turn and give me both eyes, I'm going to turn and walk away from them. I'm releasing that pressure. I'm not going to turn into them though.
Yep. No, people smarter than us, I heard this from, and you'll remember it. I like to do the U-turn. You get a donkey that you want to work with, an ungentled one, to stay real wide of it, walk towards them, not at their face, but the opposite direction they're facing, and do a U-turn and come up alongside of them at a comfortable distance. That's oftentimes a good.
Now, when you're doing that, are you backing into them? Is that like you would walk up and then kind of back alongside of them so you're facing
No,
the
it's
same?
like we're in different lanes of traffic going opposite directions. Donkey's looking that way, I'm looking that way, and then I will walk parallel with the donkey the opposite direction and do a short little U-turn so we're both facing the same direction. And then I could turn towards them just a little bit, but not 90 degrees to them, just a little bit of an angle.
So when you make the U-turn, that's when you turn to face the same direction.
Yes, after the U-turn's made. In my opinion, that gives a donkey a very easy escape route. They got the whole area in front of them. So you're trying to, when you're just working on comfort.
And I probably do it I do it similar, but I don't think I do it the same. I think I will start off, if my fingers are the donkey's head, I'll start off like over here, and then I'll just casually step towards them, and sometimes I do the U thing. And so it's a little variation. There's not just one way that works, but there's one principle that works is you can't just stare at them and walk up directly to them.
Absolutely. To steal Warwick Schiller's thunder,
Yeah.
the principle is the same, but her and I's methodology is just a teeny bit different, but the principle is the same.
Okay, so when they're feeling pressure, like when I was moving all of them yesterday out of the side that we needed to work on all the pens because of the water trough stuff. Now, Dan recorded it, so we'll make that into a video later on. But when I first started walking to move them, I wanted them to go over to the barn side, and they were all pressed up against a panel. They looked like they were ready to break the panel down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Expand on that. These panels we talked about earlier on, Nask will tell you about them. They're great and plenty strong for a couple donkeys. You got 8 of them.
Pressing
4 or
hard.
500-pound donkeys. That's like, what, 8 times 4 is 3,200, 8 times 5 is 4,000. That's 4,000 pounds of donkey pushing against those fence panels. So, yeah, it's the first couple of days are interesting.
So in order to get them to move where I wanted to do, I needed to open up one gate even further. Get the gates open far enough so it's not as intimidating for them to move through it. And then I needed to come from a different angle. So because it was like a pie shape, like the panels had made a pie shape and they were pressing into the pie area, the small area. So I needed to go and move them out of there so that when they were going back, they weren't getting jammed up in that little pie area, which was just a recipe for a disaster. So make sure that they have a good way out, because if they don't, they are going to press through or try to go over top, especially at this stage.
I was watching you do that, and I'm like, oh, that looks a little tense over there. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to change this? Like, this isn't right.
Yeah, and I'm watching from a distance going, we call an ambulance or a coroner?
But they moved, once I got them to move out of that area, then everything went smooth getting them moved. But they go fast.
They went up? Did they go up into the barn that time? So they had been in the barn. This is off track a little bit. We have a storm going on, a blizzard.
Yes.
I just looked
Icky out.
I just looked on the thermometer before we sat down here. It is flat out 5 degrees with a wicked wind blowing. If we were quiet enough, long enough, you can hear things rattling outside. We were waiting for a band inspector to come today, and I went down there with MaryJo to do the evening feeding. And lo and behold, there's a big ball of donkeys standing out in the wind. And I thought, well, weren't they introduced to the barn yesterday? MaryJo just confirmed that they were.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's snowing, things are buried. So I found a poop fork, one of the wooden handle thing, these poop. I'm like, well, this will work for a flag. So I very gently. How long did I monkey with him when you were
I don't know.
rewatching?
We did 3 brand inspections. I wasn't watching, but I'll bet you half hour you were down there when you were feeding and stuff.
Yeah, so probably 10, 15 minutes of that was trying to get them to not panic, but get them to move from me, to get them to go into the barn because they were getting plastered with snow. You know, we've all experienced it. You've seen horses standing out in the rain or a snowstorm. Well, these little buggers, these are out of Arizona. So they're in the barn now. They finally figured it out. But I did not want to cause a panic in the snow.
But what you talked about is like today when you moved them, they had already been moved once by us and they're starting to understand it does not take them long to learn that
Yeah.
what we're asking. So on the first days when we're moving them, it's pure chaos. And then later on it gets to be pretty mild where you can just get them to follow you instead of driving them forward.
Right. That's I was just hoping and praying. I want to keep it mild because it's snowing and blowing and it's slippery, and they did a good job.
So going back to like what do you do on the first days? These little things, trying to get them set up for success is huge because we're working on building trust. We want them to know what to expect from us. And when we can do that, teach them what to expect. When Dan or MaryJo walks into that pen, that's when they start to say, okay, I can take a breath because last time they did this, I did that, and they left me alone.
Yep, that's exactly how it went down today. Is when I used the poop fork to gently encourage them to let's hang out in the barn, kids. There was no panic yesterday. It would have been well. We had
It was panic
It was
yesterday.
panic.
Yeah.
Poor little guys.
And
Yeah.
yesterday they got moved from, let's just say, the west side to the east side, and then after that I moved them into more pens, right? So they got moved a couple times yesterday. But every time we do stuff with them, every time we interact with them, whether we want to or not, we're teaching them what they can expect from us. So as we keep being consistent, even when you're out cleaning the pens, throwing hay, and then asking if they can eat while you're in the pen or while you're outside of the pen, all of that is building up trust in what they can expect from us. We're trying to build where they feel confident around us. And it's going to be where they feel confident around one person to begin with.
That always happens. It seems. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got mommy's girls and daddy's boys, and yeah, and that's to take any donkey that if I've worked with it a lot, and you've been busy with other stuff, and I'll be like, Mary Jo, I need you to come work with this donkey because it's doing everything for me, and then it's
And like with Rosa and Pine, we switched. So those two are from the Ponderosa Girls. You guys can check out that playlist, the Ponderosa Girls. But Dan started with Pine and I started with Rosa. And after we got them, I think it was just accepting touch, then we switched who was
Yep.
working with who.
Yep.
Because they need to build up that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, let's see what else I have. Points that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk more about the asking them to eat. So I see a lot of people say, just sit with your donkey. All you need to do is sit with your donkey. I don't agree with that. I think that's good, but I think that we also need to ask a question. Otherwise, how are we going to measure if we're making any progress?
And how you ask that question?
I will start, like yesterday, I was just putting hay down in the pen, and will you eat if I'm 5 feet from you? No, you won't. Will you eat if I'm 6 feet from you? Will you eat if I'm outside of the pen? Where do I have to stand for you to be comfortable enough for me to eat while I'm near you?
Yep.
And every animal down there, of all 8 of them, are different.
Uh-huh. They are. They are.
And then we can keep building it. Now, will you eat from my hand? You know, like we can keep growing that into more steps. And then eventually, you know, like, can I touch you? Can I hug you? All those
Yep.
things.
Yep. You know, we've talked with conversations on these lives, on different videos, about sometimes we spend hours sitting in a chair in a pen with a rescue or a wild animal. Like Mary Jo just said, we're not just sitting there. A question has been asked. It might be an animal who's horrified, head face. I'm in one corner, they're in the other corner, facing away, not giving me the time of day. But when we do this, I'm putting something. If they eat oats, great. If not, a pile of hay, in the middle of the pen or 3/4 of the way to them. And I'm literally sitting there waiting for them. I'm asking them, will you eat with me in the pen? And waiting for them to turn and eat that hay that's 18 feet away from me.
And eventually that turns into, are you going to be okay if I brush your nose while you take hay from my hand?
Uh-huh.
Can I touch your cheek, or will you accidentally touch me? Those are all steps. And then while they're doing that, we're also paying attention to, they'll eat and then they get nervous and they got to go. When they go, are you gone for 5 minutes or 30 seconds? Because when they are gone for less time, that means they're feeling more confident.
Yes, and you know what it reminds me of? The walking it off. It's like you ever stub your toe and you gotta walk around, but you walk around in circles. So donkeys do that.
Yes.
And it's different lengths of time. Some of them may just go for a quick tour and come right back. Some gotta stop and spend 5 minutes and lick and chew. But yeah, so when you're gentling your animal, if it just up and walks off, it's okay. Just let them go.
Now, I don't always do that though.
When don't you do that?
Sometimes I feel like, because I'm impatient, I'm the type A personality. I've been waiting for 5 minutes and I feel like, I'm done waiting for you. I'll put the food closer to them. I want them to keep saying yes. So if they're so overwhelmed with where they were just eating from and they're not willing to say yes, I'm going to try to re-engage them. So if they were just eating 5 feet from me, but now they're taking an extremely long break, I might put the food 7 feet from me or 6 feet.
Yeah, exactly. Move the goalposts back, make it easier for them to succeed.
Now, another tip that I have is if you brought home more than one wild, separate them. Do not try to gentle them together.
Yeah.
Now, if the question is just, will you eat next to me? It can be okay at that point to have them together, but I wouldn't. I like to get them separate because they feed off from each other.
They do, and you know, a group of donkeys, whether it's 2 or 8, you know, that group or a pair of animals, 3 animals, however it is only as brave as the scaredest one. The most fearful one is going to dictate how quickly the brave one spooks. So when you get them separated and work with them individually, you're going to be working with it's just you and that donkey. They're not going to be worried about what their pals are doing. You're going to get 100% of their attention instead of having
Closer to 100%. Sometimes they'll go in the corner to be wherever closest to their friend. And sometimes you get them separated and they'll pace back and forth and they're gonna like run over you. And all of that is a question. Can you be okay when you're not next to your friends? That's a question, guys, and that will improve over time.
You know, you brought up can I bring up with Doe and the blue tarp?
Heck yeah.
There was a donkey, Doe. It's from the Ponderosa girls. It was Doe and Fawn. Absolute pals. I mean, they were each other's security blanket. And we'd kind of hit a roadblock. So we got them separated, but yet they would go to the corners closest to each other so they could be as close as possible. Well, what's the scariest thing in the world? It's a blue tarp. Well, we got to end this security blanket stuff because I need your attention. So I hung the blue tarp flapping in the breeze in the corner of the pen where they keep wanting to meet each other. And eventually Doe said, I don't care about that tarp. I want to be by Fawn. And then, so that became like her security blanket. I went into the other pen, and she got so used to being by that blue tarp, I could then use that blue tarp. I could reach my hand through the panel and pet Doe as long as that blue tarp was there. So somehow she associated being near Fawn and the blue tarp were all together. The blue tarp, that's how she got gentle. Was
bizarre.
With that blue tarp. And the same thing with Pine. Remember I hung a blue tarp?
Yes, she always had to be wherever the blue tarp was.
So not all the time, maybe never again in my life. But we've had 2 where the blue tarp actually was very helpful in calming them down. Shoot us some questions if you want to know more. It was pretty funny.
Absolutely. Now, guys, like what to expect emotionally and behaviorally from your donks. They're all different, and our timing is always improving, right? Even Dan and I, we're getting better as we're going, and I'll think that, oh, I have a black and white recipe, and then I'll have another donkey come in, and it's like, yeah, this one's breaking my recipe. Be ready for having to do change. If it doesn't feel right, trust your gut. Know that if it's taking a long time, that's okay. Just ask questions that you can measure. Will you eat next to me? Does it have to be 10 feet from you, or can you be 1 foot, or can you have the food right out of my hand? All of those are progressions. And with the Ponderosa girls, how quickly did Doe and Fawn get gentled?
Don't like.
2
I,
weeks.
I think they were placed in their new home at like 3 weeks.
It was the fastest that we've had
Yeah.
any do.
Yes.
Oh my
It
God.
was. They were the blue tarp donkeys.
And then from the same group, we have Pine and Pine and Rosa, who are leaving this weekend.
Yeah.
So they just finished getting gentled. Well, they've been gentled for maybe a month now.
Yeah.
But-
But they were. I don't think it was the same group, and they are totally different personalities.
Oh, and then from the 5 old men, I just brought my new addition home yesterday. Hell, it doesn't lead well at all. Okay, so I am actually doing a leading series right now, and let me try to see what it's called.
While you're looking, I want to talk real quick.
Yeah,
here.
you bet.
Donkey that doesn't lead very well. Go at right angle. Go to the left. Go to the right. Get those feet moving. They're gonna resist you more and want to think more if you encourage them to go forward. If you have to cross the pen doing an S, keep turning that head. When you turn that head, they'll turn their feet. That is a good little shortcut.
That's like the very beginning baby
Yeah.
steps. So like
Yep.
when I put a halter on a donkey, we're at that stage. The very first thing I do is I just walk kind of towards its butt. Always stay out of kicking range, guys. Always stay out of kicking range. But I kind of walk towards its butt. I'm looking for it to look, even it could just give me a stank eye to the side. I'm going to release that pressure because they're thinking, they're trying to learn. And then eventually I'm looking for a step and then circles. But the playlist that I have started now, because I have like a leading playlist that probably has over 130 videos or something. But this one is going to be very step by step. And it's called How to Train a Donkey to Lead from Reactive to, let's see, from reactive or frozen to forward. So that's How to Train a Donkey to Lead from Reactive or Frozen to Forward. Now that one there, I am breaking down into steps. And the next one, I would have released it last Monday, guys, but I'm behind. Is just the next step in what I do. So I'm walking you guys through what to do. And then I also have a field guide. A field guide version that is just like a couple minutes long, 2 or 3 minutes. And that's gonna help you guys like to know what to do in the moment. So it's just a really condensed version.
We have another question.
God. It doesn't lead well. Thank you. It isn't food motivated either. He seems traumatized.
That's that. Yeah, we've brought home domestics that just from being with a new pasture and a new pens, seem a little traumatized. Something else too with leading. Just even look forward if you're asking to go forward or sideways, whichever. Look for just a little try, a little something, lean in your direction, or they pretend they're going to step forward. If you've had some tension on your lead rope up until that point, the second they give you anything, I don't care if it's a hair, release that pressure. Okay, and just keep repeating that process. And keep asking for a teeny bit more every time you get some success. Because many of you will find you chuck a halter on a donkey, clip on a lead rope, say, "Come on, Sugar Plum, let's go for a walk." It can be frustrating if Sugar Plum isn't ready to do that. So that's a hole in the foundation in training. So you need to go back to very small questions.
And then the reward. So the reward can just be time standing. And sometimes I'll stand next to my donkey that I'm working with. I think the longest I've stood next to him is like 45 minutes because they were uptight. Now I have a lot of videos showing what uptight looks like. But here is my favorite little tool to help me make sure I stand. Because remember, guys, I have the type A personality. We got a list. We have a list that we're going to work off from. So
It gets rough if that donkey's not following her time frame. Yeah.
it's rough for Dan.
Yeah.
So my watch, I have a timer on my watch, and you can see I got little like pre-timers set. When I'm working with the donkey and they're worked up, they need that time. So sometimes I actually set a timer on my watch. Now that is not, guys, it's not the best way to do it, because the best way to do it is actually watch for them to do all the signs of letting down, whether it is their head placement, their eyes being soft. Like a donkey doesn't do like a horse will. They'll get like cow-eyed with their eyes super, they don't, they just get slightly like, I think maybe I'm nervous. Licking and chewing, whether or not their tail is clamped or swishing, if they're stomping their feet. Like I saw a lot of stomping feet yesterday when I was in the pens with the new ones. They're just like, yeah, I think maybe I need to kick you.
Yeah, yeah.
So just standing with them long enough. And if you need to set a timer to help yourself truly stand with them and watch for the signs of them relaxing. What happens is when they relax, when you're with them, they're like, oh, wow, when I'm with you, I feel good. If you think about your favorite people to hang out with, why do you like to hang out with them? Because they make you feel good, right? So when you're working with your donkey, make sure you're that person, and learning how to become that person is probably different for every donkey because they don't all like the food rewards or
Right.
ear scratches right away.
And there's another trainer out there, and this is more a Mustang clinic we went to, and from what I've seen, this applies to donkeys as well, gentling wild ones. You know, you get an animal that's not food motivated, or you just are not using food as a reward. Getting excited and petting a donkey and rubbing her with her, or scratching her head, that's actually the opposite of a reward. Okay, when you're trying to get a donkey to lead or do some small step, okay, and you get that small step or a little hint of it, just even like just a little lean, and it can be small. Stop. Don't do anything.
Be a statue.
Just be a statue, okay, and just let them sit there. That is actually a very, very good reward for them. There'll be plenty of time for petting later, okay? And lots of petting when you're not training. But and then I've caught myself doing it, and I've caught MaryJo doing it. We cross a milestone and get excited, and we raise our voice, and we think we're giving affection to this animal because we're so proud of them. We're doing actually the opposite. It's like, oh my God, I'm not even going to do that again. The last time I did that, she got excited, her voice raised up, she came at me fast, and she tried to rub my ears. There's power in silence and power in being calm. Yes, when you're not training, rub on and love and pet your donkeys if they let you. That's great bonding time, but be careful with it when you're training.
Because you're dealing with a nervous animal at that point.
Right.
Which is what makes it different. Like Wild Donkey Ah, who we brought home June of 2023, she likes the scratches. She likes the rubs.
I mean, just think of it as, you got abducted by aliens, went to a different planet, and you don't recognize their facial expressions, and you have no idea what their language is, and they're prodding you with a stick, trying to get you to do something, and you actually do it, and they all freak out and making noises you don't recognize. You can't recognize their facial expressions. It could be a bit frightening.
I think that's going to be our topic tomorrow. The different languages, guys, because that's huge. And I have like this perfect example over something I bought over a year ago, and I'm still trying to figure out how to understand to use it properly, even though my kids know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now one of the other things that's come up, guys, is trying to stay consistent during the cold weather. Now that's I wear this when I'm training. This one, it kind of covered my ears, but not totally. How long should a training session be? Long line, small flag. I've been watching your videos. Yes, different languages. So, gentling sessions, I would keep to about 15 minutes, and I probably go up to a half hour sometimes, but it's dependent upon how stressed they seem.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times you're more effective in 15 minutes than 30 minutes, because sometimes, and we're all guilty of it, and I'll probably end up doing it again. This first 15 minutes went so well, let's keep going. I have to catch myself and say, just stop.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of anti-fun. Everything's going so well, let's stop. But that's the right thing to do.
And when you come back, like maybe you stop for 15 minutes or a half hour, you go do some chores and then come back. That's good.
Yes.
But continuing the session is bad.
Yep.
It bites us in the butt.
Yep.
So staying consistent, that's why I'm wearing two hats, guys, because when I'm going outside, I need to be comfortable. So I will dress in a lot of layers because I'm a freeze baby. And another thing, Christmas is coming, guys. Ask Santa for some hand warmers. I live with those in my pockets.
Will they take about an hour to warm up?
Yeah, so sometimes, like if I'm going to be down there and I want to make sure I stay down there, sometimes I'll get one open even though I might not need it.
Right. And then you're going down to go train. Don't wait until your hands are cold to break out the hand warmers. Go ahead, open them up, get them in your pockets before you go out to your pen or your barn. And thank me later, because then when your hands do get cold, you put your hands in your pockets and it's nice and warm.
And I don't think you ever use hand warmers.
No, no.
His hands are warm. How about getting him in and out of a stall? He's like a statue. So if you're trying to move him in and out of a stall, I would, you're going to have to get him even to lean forward. That's okay. That's what we're here for, Kristen. Absolutely.
I would, not seeing the situation, but my first go-to would be make sure you're taking a right or a left going into that stall. Don't go straight in. If you can lead him alongside that stall, then have him from the side, have him turn. And hopefully those moving feet will continue into the stall versus trying to pull him, asking him to go straight in.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Though. Are you doing a stall that is outside like a training pen, or are you talking about like a stall in a barn? Because that would change things up a little
I'm
bit.
envisioning a stall in a barn.
That's what I was envisioning also.
Yeah, so
but
if it is a stall in a barn, make sure you take a right or a left. Try taking a right or a left to see if it works a little bit better.
And then the other two things for that, one would be the angles that we were talking about. So I wish I had I have a dog clippers. Let's imagine this is the donkey.
Oh boy.
Does it look like a donkey, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is the donkey's head in the barn. Okay, so this is the donkey's head. When I want to get the donkey to go forward, I'm going to be at an angle like this. See, the best way to see it. I'm going to be at an angle like this because that's driving him forward. If I get this far, if my body is here, I'm no longer necessarily driving him. This is kind of a neutral area. And then if I'm up here, I'm going to stop him or turn him. If I'm on this side, he would turn this way. So coming at an angle like this is how you need to drive him forward. But if your donkey is nervous about going in there, you're going to have to pay a leaning forward and a step forward.
Because this donkey is not food motivated. So yeah, you're really important to recognize the try and reward with a release or a break.
And then when you're putting the pressure on, so I'm guessing he doesn't move fast right now because you're having trouble getting him in the barn. Be big. Make yourself, your energy needs to be a spaz at this point. So I'm going to go in there, I'm going to be like, move, and I'm going to just be a spaz. Oh, wow, this is super helpful. The position, good. So your position, spaz it out and keep spazzing until he leans forward. And when he leans forward, become like a statue.
Is this a freshly gentled wild donkey or just a regular old mainstream domestic donkey? Because that will change things a little bit too.
I don't know how much it would change things other than how fastly you progress through things.
Well, I think we do it different for Honk than we would for Rosa.
Because Rosa would move fast.
Right.
Honk would be like, are you sure?
Yeah, I'll get back to you next week. I'm going to stand here. Yeah.
But our energy is a huge domestic but unknown history.
Okay.
And sometimes, guys, people will think that their animals were abused, and it's not necessarily abused, but so many people don't get releasing the pressure, and releasing the pressure is what makes them feel good around you. That's when they say, oh, last time I was with her, I felt really good. And now I understand because we got that 2 different languages going on too.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow we're going to talk more about 2 different languages. And then if you guys want more help, we have memberships. So there's different tiers with the memberships. One is extra videos, and then like the field guides that breaks everything down where you can kind of use it while you're training, where it's just 2 or 3 minutes, or it could be 1 to 3 minutes long, but never more than 3 minutes. And then another tier is even coaching. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I just want some extra help, then I also offer coaching for you guys. Now, tomorrow we'll talk about the 2 different languages. Yeah, you can buy his halter, that there's been lots of pulling.
Okay.
So yeah.
Repeat what that said. I didn't have my glasses on.
Yeah, you can buy his halter. There's been a lot of pulling.
Okay. The donkey's pulling back on you?
Now, this leading stuff, if you do have a donkey language, if you do have a donkey that is pulling back on you, this leading series that I'm making right now is going to fix that. Okay? It's not fixing it all by itself, but it's part of the recipe. Jen S. Jen S. She's my coaching student. Heck yeah. I forgot that. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay. So the leading series, it's going from clearing the front to understand.
Dog out.
Oh, Dan's letting the puppy out. We're dog sitting. We have our grand puppy here today. Okay, so we're starting with clearing the front and then getting forward motion and then rolling the hinds. And then we're gonna roll the hinds and stop. And then we're gonna roll the hinds and roll the front. And this is gonna keep growing. So I'm gonna keep making videos about all of this. And the donkeys that I'm using are gonna have to change up some because, well, gosh, now Rosa and Pine leave this weekend. Squirrel just left like last weekend. And all the new wilds, you can't even touch them yet. So we'll have
We
to
just
use-
can't catch up because we find homes for 3 and we bring home 8. So
And we have a waiting list there. His halter that came on looks like there's been a lot of pulling on him. Oh, so it's like maybe worn really bad.
oh,
Okay, so when you're dealing with this, you're probably gonna have a donkey that has some serious habits of how the donkey thinks life should be or how they think they need to react. So it's gonna take some time to fix it, but if you are consistent and with it, you know, being warm, get out your hand warmers, put on silly hats, look like a fool, but be comfortable enough to be out there, and even 5 minutes a day is gonna help.
yep. And remember, reward even just a teeny little bit by doing nothing.
Okay, so tomorrow we're going to talk about, do you train at the same time every day? No. Kind of, but no.
In the summertime, it's after work, after the day job.
Yeah.
In the fall, it's been chilly mornings, so it's usually midday. I don't know. No, we're pretty hard to pattern, I think.
One thing that I think that helps is feeding before they have their meal. Oh, I'm glad you guys love this. That is so awesome. So when we're, especially with these new wilds, when we're trying to get them curious, curiosity killed the cat, and curiosity is going to help train the donkey, you guys. So in order to get curiosity, we will often start gentling or training with their breakfast or with their dinner. It will help.
Yes, with gentling brand new donkeys to start training before breakfast. You know they're hungry. That to get them to be food motivated is really an asset when it comes to gentling a wild one, and to get them to be food motivated on a full belly is a little bit more challenging because early on they don't eat cookies and treats and oats and all that. They eat hay. They don't even know what oats or timothy pellets are.
There's no oats in the wild.
Yeah. So to get through to a brand new wild that you're gentling, try going down there and spending 15 minutes before breakfast. And you might find the class might pay a little bit better attention.
It does.
And then, of course, immediately give them the rest of their breakfast the second you're done.
Now, you guys, do you guys remember when I did the go live with Wild Donkey and I was wearing the chicken costume trying to get her afraid so I could demonstrate how to help them?
And
I got batteries.
And she didn't even get afraid.
No, she's like the most terrified donkey in the world. She's from the Seven Troughs, and she was not afraid at all. So anyways, I'm going to have that costume. I don't know which day. We're going to be live at 6:30 each day. And then when the weather is nice or whatever, we'll go earlier and then use that costume. Thank you. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Tuning in. Yeah.
I just aged myself.
I know. 1987 called, so they want their TV back. Yeah.
Have a good night. Happy
night, guys.
Thanksgiving.